Your relationship is what it is because of you.
That's deep.
Well, ow. Yep. Yay. Because that right there, I mean, it's just that ow. Your relationship is what it is because of you.
You got to pause.
Thank you for coming out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, wait a minute, what that mean? It depends on how your relationship is. So for all of you listening, depending on where you are, you're taking that a certain type of way. I just want to shout out, I saw Yvette. Yeah, I saw Yvette. Sis, what's going on? So
before we get started though, baby, I mean, we need to properly introduce each other.
I was going there.
We are. I mean, you did say who I was, and I did say, well, you said who you were. So this right is my lovely wife, Fiona, and my name is Ayize Ma'ai. We're both licensed therapists, and we do this thing, y'all. So not only are we professionals, we live this thing every single day. We walk this walk. We walk it how we talk it every day. We got 5 beautiful children, and again, we work on a regular basis, on a daily basis, to help couples enhance, improve, and really edify their relationship. And so this is what we do, and we're here to give you some of what we got. And it's not just about us giving it to you. The reality is that we also learn from you all giving to us too, because it's a community experience. You all have actually had some experiences that we could benefit from. And so we appreciate the input, the recommendations, the advice, the feedback, the recorrection, the redirection that you all actually correct. I said recorrection.
Yeah, I was going to cry. I was like, I'm going to hear that I'm had at. I'll tell them about that later.
The redirection that y'all provide during our live stream. So again, please add your input. And while you do that, also what we're asking is that you please share, please comment. Because again, your voice is needed during this discussion.
Yeah, share the video. What's up, Deania? I'm glad you're back on. They said they've missed a few. Honey, we missed a few too, so it's all good. We're back. And yes, Yvette, tell Marcel, I'm already singing. Already. Because that title, your relationship is what it is because of you. Jeffrey, Shawana, Tia, Rita, Milagros, shouting out some folks on YouTube. I want y'all to just tell us just what comes up. When you hear that, when you hear it is what it is because of me. Like it takes two people. It takes 2 people is what we often hear people say, right? Yeah. And tonight, we're going to, in some way, deconstruct that myth. We're going to deconstruct the myth that it takes 2. What do you mean? I know it does take 2, but we want you to ride with us tonight to understand how we are pointing the finger back at you, how I can point the finger back at myself, and how my husband can do the same as we talk about, what you getting, what are the relationships like out there tonight? Those of you who are watching us, where you at? On a scale of 1 to 10, can you just drop a number? If you add 10 is like the most fabulous connection, and we be flowing and we talking, we connect, and it's like, what's up, boo? Oh my God, what's up, boo? We going later on tonight, right? And then maybe an 8, you're doing that, but not as consistently, and a 6 to 5, 4, right? Goes on down from there. A 1 or a 0 obviously means it's not good. Drop a number and let us know.
This Negro, he tripping. You just smack your teeth.
Y'all don't need, you roommates. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? 0 and 1 is roommates, like where are you? And we got some numbers coming in. I won't say your name, but I see an 8, I see 7, I see 4, right? I see different things. Hey, Doreen, I see you. So people are, what?
Never mind.
People are all over the place. All right. 6. I see 7 again. Kim Holloway. I see you. Welcome. And then, Alicia, I like your transparency. Alicia says, I talk too much and push my non-talking husband away. It just keeps getting worse. We had a 1. Wow. At a 1. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit more. 529 said, is there a sliding scale? I feel you, right? Sometimes we're here and sometimes we're there.
But you know what, though, baby? I mean, we can't ask other people to drop their number. We not drop our numbers.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So I would say my number is a 9.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like genuinely, honestly. You're probably like, she's saying that because he's saying that. No, what came from me is a 9. It's a 9.
What?
There was a little bug that just flew right there. Sorry. So anyway, so I would say we're at a 9, but that doesn't mean that we don't ebb and flow. We don't go up and down. It doesn't mean that you all don't. That's a part of the process of being in a relationship. But tonight we want to focus you in on why you need to take complete responsibility for where your relationship is and for where it isn't. Okay? Where it is and where it isn't. And it's really easy for us to look at the other person, to be able to call out their stuff, to be able to say how we've done this and they haven't done that. But that doesn't work in relationships that want to be successful. If you want to go to the next level, if you want to maintain what you have, it doesn't work for you to call out somebody else. The people who are successful, the couples who do well, that we consistently see doing well, they are folks who are professional. This ain't a real term. Caller outers of themselves. Professional. They are forever stepping up to the plate in some way, shape, or form, and they are able to cast the light on themselves and say, you know, I could have came differently. You know, I could have done that, you know, in a different way. I could have looked out for you. I'm sorry, I didn't think about this. Right? Trying to find a reason. Trying to find something to take responsibility for. And that's a lot of times what we tell folks.
Yeah, we do.
And people have a hard time with that.
And I mean, just to amplify what you mean by people have a hard time.
Well, I take responsibility for nothing that ain't mine.
No, and it's really a serious situation, y'all, because again, as we mentioned a moment ago, we're both licensed therapists. So we sit in front of couples all the time, doing coaching, doing counseling, doing individual work with people. And the reality is that when people encounter a situation where they experience some element of dysfunction, some element of dis-ease in a relationship, it's really easy for them to point the finger at their partner. It's almost second nature. I mean, you can't really sit in a room and say your ish stinks. You don't. You like to say your partner stuff stinks. And so we do have mature couples that come to us and they're able to take ownership, but far more often than not, and unfortunately, this is a reality, most people are pointing the finger at their partner. And the reason why they're doing that, Charles, is because we've developed this psychological immune system that says that we got to push stuff away. We got to protect ourselves. We got to block ourselves psychologically. So I'm not going to make it about me. I'm not going to say it's about me. So I'm protecting myself, because to make it about me means that I have a problem. I have an issue. And so what I do is I make it about you. I make it about you. So it's a defense mechanism that pops up that prevents us from really looking at ourselves and seeing that we play a part in the dysfunction that we experience. So it's important, y'all, that you pay attention tonight, because we want to lift up some things that you may be doing, that you are doing, that's leading to the relationship that you're in right now, whether it be good or bad. So we're not just going to focus on the bad, we're going to focus on the good too.
I want to say this, and a lot of times we make assumptions about our relationships, about other people's relationships. And I know I might be going down a little shaky lane by even bringing this up right now, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. So we all know what's been going on in the media with Bill Cosby, and your man is in prison. Right? He ain't in jail. He's in prison, or maybe he's still in jail getting ready to go to prison. I'm not sure, but we all know what's been going on there. So I saw some things online, and folks were talking all kind of stuff. And my man, Boyce Watkins, who, you know, I respect and have a lot of appreciation for the work that he does, for a lot of the work that he does. But, you know, he was kind of breaking down his analysis of this Bill Cosby thing. And a lot of times when people are talking about that situation, they're talking about all of these pertinent things, right? About, you know, obviously sexual assault and rape and, you know, all of that stuff going on, and whether it's fair or whether it's just or unjust, or he's, you know, being persecuted as a Black man, right? But I find that I've heard barely anyone comment on the marriage. What is the marriage between the two of them? And so just recently, not that long ago, Boyce commented on that, and I heard some other folks, and some of the rhetoric that I heard is, you know, marriage is commitment, and marriage, you know, requires for two people to be willing to go there with one another and for each other, hold each other down. And this woman, you know, Bill Cosby's wife, oh my goodness, she is just amazing, because she's been holding him down for how long? She had to know some of this stuff was going on. People are, you know, coming and going. He ain't really getting there, and she's still there, you know, standing steady. And you know what? At the end of the day, she ain't really get that bad of a life, right? She got to maybe kind of sort of even trade, because she could get on a private jet probably, and she could go on nice vacations, and she could do all these kinds of things that she would not have been able to do without Bill Cosby being her husband. And so, you know, respect for her, respect. And some of y'all like, yes, respect. And I'm about to just bust the bubble. Nah, bruh, nah. And I'm gonna tell you where I come from with it. We get out of a relationship what we put into it. whatever we're getting is a reflection of what we're giving. Even if we cannot be in control and we cannot take care of, what our partner is doing, we are able to respond. We are able to pay attention to how it's impacting us. And so much respect to Camille, much respect to her. This is not any kind of commentary on her because I don't know. But let me tell you something. There are people who are all kind of rich, got all kind of money, got all kind of access, able to go where they want to go, do what they want to do, have what they want to have, and they are miserable.
Absolutely.
All kinds of people who have been sitting on top of the world, won all kinds of awards, been all over the TV, and they kill themselves. Mm-hmm. Let's not get it twisted and think that because someone has a certain amount of access, that in that marriage, that there were not perhaps, I'm just saying potentially, some things that she saw, some things that she observed, some things that she participated in, even by not commenting, because when you don't say nothing, you still are making a decision about how you play into that scenario. Maybe there's some things she looks back on now, or maybe at some point where she could say, I could have done differently. I didn't have to live this type of life. I didn't have to participate in this. We don't know. Maybe she not, and she like, he ain't never done nothing. All I'm saying is, let's not destroy. I mean, real talk. The essence of marriage. It is about holding each other down, but it's also about taking care of yourself. You get out what you put in. Tonight, if you're joining us, we're talking about the fact that whatever you're getting in your relationship, it is because of you. So while, yes, we can have empathy for her and we can talk about, oh my gosh, how hard that must have been. Because I think most people are like, everybody disagrees on whether he, raped somebody or didn't, or whether they was, asking for the quaaludes or they wasn't. But I think most folks like he did something. He was clearly doing something. Whether it's consensual or not is the debate, right? But we have to understand that, for some of y'all having a hard time with what I'm saying, take Camille out of it. Take Bill out of it, because some of y'all get hot about that. Any person in a relationship has a responsibility to themselves to respond to what is before them, to do it appropriately by first checking in with themselves and seeing where they are, and then what their responsibility is to themselves and to the relationship, and absolutely to their children. So let's not try and make things look like they, everything is all good. Everything is wonderful. She's just so great. She's just amazing. And she's been doing, so much for him. And that's what a wife should be. She might be at a place in her life, like many people who find themselves in situations like this. How in the hell did I get here? It's been 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 years. And here I stand in the midst of this mess.
How in the hell did I get here?
How did I get here?
She may feel trapped.
We don't know.
I mean, a lot of times financial abuse is perpetrated on people of color. And women experience that. Women experience the reality that, a man who carries the purse strings or who is controlling the pockets and some financial abuse is going on, where I'm not saying that that's what their situation is.
Yeah, right.
But what I am saying is that we don't know what the dynamic was. And so to assume that because she's getting things paid for, to assume that because she can text Michelle Obama, to assume that because she can travel to countries and do whatever she wants to do at the drop of a dime, to assume that she's financially taken care of means that she's happy. No, that's a falsehood, y'all.
Yeah.
That's a fallacy in your logic. And
that's a decent trade.
Yeah, no. Now, some of y'all might say, I would take that any day.
Because some people say, men cheat. That's what they do. So, might as well get one that's going to take care of me at the same time.
Yeah, so when I heard that, I had a similar issue as you. I was thinking to myself that, for real, like, again, I do have much respect for Dr. Boyce. But, for somebody who has not or who is not married, and to be commenting on, what a woman or what a wife should do in a marriage, to me, that just reeks of ignorance. And, what I would say is that he needs to, just pump his brakes and get some more exposure, possibly to couples who have experienced healthy relationships, healthy marriages, and to really get a better understanding of what it should look like.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. And Fine 29 is dropping the knowledge tonight. She said, strength doesn't mean all the abuse you can withstand in a relationship. Delana said, not worth trading my self-respect. Fine 29 also said, you can have all the money and access in the world and still be empty. And we have to really challenge ourselves to look at the ways in which we don't take care of ourselves, the ways in which we don't do what we need to do for ourselves. And then it shows up in our relationship. Can't nobody take care of you if you don't take care of yourself. It's just not going to happen. So we want to talk about this. I see the word over here on YouTube, accountability. Yes, Jeffrey Johnson, accountability is always what's up. I see you, Natalie. What's going on?
What's up, Natalie? What's up, Gary?
We see you.
So we'll go ahead and jump right into this show.
We already been jumped in.
Yeah, we have, but we're going to go ahead and cover our points right now. And again, please share, because not only will you get some value this evening, but whomever you share it with will probably get some value as well. All right, so we're going to alternate, y'all. We're going to share a bad thing or a bad result of the way you show up in your relationship, and then we're going to flip that and show a good result for the way you show up in your relationship. And so I want to start this thing off by your relationship is what it is because of you. And what you're doing right now is avoiding conflict. Avoiding conflict.
What do you mean we're doing right now?
I'm saying whoever is watching this, they
avoiding conflict.
Yeah, avoiding conflict. That's the reason why their relationship is what it is. They're avoiding conflict. They're avoiding having a conversation. They're avoiding lifting up their point of view. They're avoiding lifting up their perspective. They're avoiding expressing their idea. And as a result, you got a relationship that's dominated by one person. You're afraid to step out there and express your opinion to lift up your perspective. And as a result, your voice isn't being heard and your needs are not being met. And so when you avoid conflict, when you step into a relationship or when you engage in a relationship for an extended period of time and you avoid conflict, you're not living in an authentic relationship. There's no relationship that experiences smooth sailing on a regular basis, on a constant basis, rather. And so if you're avoiding conflict, avoiding dealing with the issues in your relationship, that's one reason why your relationship may not be in a healthy space. It's simply because you think that you put a Band-Aid on it by avoiding it, you put a bow on it or a ribbon on it by avoiding it, that things are all good. No, you still got some underlying things that need to be addressed. And in you avoiding the relationship or avoiding the conflict, these things continue to fester. And they manifest themselves in different ways in a relationship, maybe in a silent treatment, maybe in resentment, but these things pop up at a later point in your relationship if you don't deal with them. So you can't avoid the conflict by dealing with the stuff that needs to be dealt with.
I want to know, who are the conflict avoiders tonight? If you are a conflict avoider, just go ahead and drop an A. Can you just drop the letter A? You don't even have to type it all out. Just, slightly call yourself out. It's really not about judgment, y'all. It's about knowing kind of our emotional DNA, some of the things that we've learned in our upbringing. There are those of us who just don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? That's whether or not it's with our boo, or it's with our boss, or it's with our child, or with our girlfriend. Like, I don't want to deal with that. So just go ahead and drop an A. I see some A's coming on. So you have to have that. I see somebody put a bunch of A's. A. And so I love that y'all are so real, because if you're not able to be real about that, then you won't be able to see how that's impacting what you're getting. It's easy to say this person should have known something, or, they're not coming correct. And I said something one time, but you ain't go back. You didn't bring it back up. You're not keeping it lifted up. You're not pushing into the difficult parts of the conversation. You have those moments where you're around your partner and you're like, do I do it? Do I say something now? It's kind of on your spirit. You just keep going. And somebody says to you, hey, what's wrong? You good? But I say, hey, what's going on? I'm good. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I mean, this is really an interesting response, though.
Just because check this out.
So I know we got fellas on here. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I know we got fellas on here.
Go right ahead.
I know we got fellas on here, but all of the women are saying A. Not all of the women, but many of the women are saying A. I'm not seeing any A's from men. And so that's interesting, because I've said before, and I want to see what y'all think about this, but women are the ones who are often having issues in a relationship, always bringing the issues, always finding the issues, always
a little more expressive,
creating the issues.
Oh, slow your roll.
But so because we're seeing a bunch of A's from women, I'm curious to know whether or not men feel the same way. I'm not sure about Music Lover, or I see a guy picture, so he's saying A.
Yeah, I mean, we know that it's both. We know that it's both. You may not be aware, but it's both.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do y'all think about what I just said in terms of the issues being lifted up by women, or women oftentimes suppressing their voice and not expressing what it is? Or do y'all always just walk around with stuff on y'all?
Well, where are we going with this?
I'm just asking a question.
This to talk about women and we petty? Are you just trying to get?
Well, are you? I mean, are women always walking around with stuff? Are women always walking around with stuff? That's the reason why many women are saying, "Hey," I'm just asking a question. I'm just curious to know. I really want to know, because again, if women are doing this, why aren't the men doing this? Because we don't care. I mean, I think we do care.
Well,
I know we care. I know many of us care.
I'm confused.
I know many of us care, but again, the question is like, why is it that women are saying that they have the issues and they're not necessarily expressing themselves?
Well, let me just say this. I do think, and I said something to this effect last week, maybe even, or last time we came on. I do think that, much of how we interact and we engage is based on our childhood, portfolio, if you will. What did the people in your family do? How did you all talk about the difficult things? Sometimes we didn't bring them up. Sometimes that's all we did. And when we brought them up, it was fighting and cursing and whatever. Mm-hmm. Some people call themselves direct. I'm just direct because your mama was direct and everybody's direct. And we just, what's the problem? Right. And that doesn't work for everybody all the time. And then there are others who just don't even know that they even have a feeling about something. What do you want? It's all good. It don't matter. What do you think? It's whatever you think. It don't matter. Where you want to go? It's up to you. Like, make a decision, have a preference, right? And so they perhaps have grown up in families where having a voice is not even something they even saw, let alone consider for themselves. So I think a lot of it comes out of our, our family makeup, but also in our society. A lot of times, again, I always have to say this, religion and all that kind of stuff can have a lot of cultural norms that are set out there for us in terms of how we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. How am I supposed to support my man? I'm a pretty expressive woman, and I have an opinion. And, if I'm really feeling something, I might want to talk like this. You know what I'm saying? And, that type of thing, right? But I have to be honest, being in relationship with a Black man, which is the only kind of man I've ever been in a relationship with, let's be clear. But being in relationship with a Black man, I've always, particularly as I became more aware of my own self and my own ways, I've always been very mindful of how I show up, because I don't want to come off as disrespectful. Because you told me all the time when we were younger and we first started out, you disrespectful. Or people think that I'm, she's a strong Black woman or a feisty Black woman who's doing too much, right? Mm-hmm. All of those types of stereotypes and labels. So at the end of the day, we are influenced by those things. We cannot avoid the conflict though, y'all. Yeah. We can't avoid it, man. We just got to go ahead and just and dive into it as long as we are being respectful. And sometimes it's not neat. Sometimes it's messy. It is what it is. You just have to push yourself. I'm going to say this really quickly and then we're going to move on. Oftentimes when we're at a point where we know that we need to address something, it is the first step that's the hardest. It's the opening up your mouth and saying the word, right? Like that's what it is. That's the hardest. Once you push past it, right? And this is a lesson, not just for us and our partners, it's for anybody, right? What's up, Antoinette? We see you. Once you push past that piece, it becomes easier. You just got to discipline yourself to do it. Mm-hmm. Discipline yourself to do it. And for your partner, if you have to send them an invite, shoot them an email or a text message and say, look, tonight at 9:00, come holler at me. I want to talk to you. Let's make sure that we connect. But can you make sure you come to me and, just ask me what's up? Yeah. I just need you to do that, right? Because that makes it easier so that we don't have to go seek them out. You have to find ways to make yourself not do that. Because once you do that, like you said, people start to get resentful. We meet with people 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in. They've been avoiding the whole time. They mad as hell. And I'm like, but sis. But you ain't said nothing. And when you do say something, it's for like 2 seconds and then you drop it for a year. And then you come back and now you mad. It's all on him. You get what you put in back out of your relationship. Absolutely. It's coming back to you.
I like what Shawanda said. She said, I've learned from experience when your partner, when they ask, are you okay? Answer honestly.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't realize that's our opportunity to tell the truth and just say, no, I'm not.
Oh, read it. Who said that?
Shawanda.
Shawanda. Read it again.
She says, I've learned from experience when your partner asks, are you okay? Answer honestly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't realize that's our opportunity to tell the truth and just say, no, I'm not.
Yeah, that's hard. That can be hard.
It really can be. It really can be.
Yeah.
And I think that leads to, our second point, which is what successful couples do in their relationship. Your relationship is successful because you do this. You embrace the gray.
What you say now?
Your relationship is successful because you do this. You embrace the gray.
Yes, indeed. I couldn't resist.
That was real clever.
It was. Embrace the gray. And it turns me on. You look good. Yes. All right. I'm sorry. Let's get back on task. I couldn't resist, y'all. Embrace the gray. My baby has embraced the gray. And it's all good. It's all good. You are beautiful.
Like thank you.
You are.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. A little side moment. Yeah. So what does it mean, baby? What does it mean for couples to embrace the gray? What does that mean?
Here's the thing, y'all. So, my wife, when we were dating, so one thing we didn't mention, y'all, early on is that we go way back. 20, I think 3-4 years in. We high school sweethearts. We've been married now for 16 years. And so early on in our relationship, when we were dating, my wife, she would often say to me, like, it doesn't have to be black or white. It can be gray. And so to some degree, I was initially resistant to that paradigm. But then I saw how it benefited me, benefited us in our relationship. And so, again, we've been married now for 16 years, and we said earlier, both nines. We got a very strong, healthy relationship. We got 5 kids. We've been through a bunch of struggles, but we're at a space right now where we speak about the fact that we're deeply and madly in love with each other. And so I'm lifting this up because one of the things that I want to emphasize is that embracing the gray doesn't mean that there is no black. It doesn't mean that there is no white. What it means is that there's a combination of both. And that there's room for ambiguity. There's room for figuring things out. There's room for you being in the middle and allowing your partner to step up. Not allowing your partner, but your partner stepping up, you stepping up. And it's making room for both of you all to be present, both voices to be heard in the relationship. And also it's making room for the fact that you may not know everything.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know which step to take. You may make a misstep. But you allow yourself permission. You give yourself permission to be able to course correct.
And give each other permission. Mm-hmm. Look, one of the places that I hate being and I hate hanging out in the most is in limbo. Mm-hmm. I can't stand being in limbo. We're trying to make a decision. Are we going to buy this for the house? Are we going to do this with the business? Are we going to go in this direction with the kids? Are we going blah, 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 whatever it is, fill in the blank. And I'm telling you, my decision is made. Y'all have heard me say this for those who followed us in about 2.2 seconds. Okay, I already know. Maybe not quite that fast, but I'm making that decision pretty quickly. Baby, where you at? Where you at, boo? Where you at? You ready? What's up? Where you at? He like,
I'm gonna process that then.
Yeah, let me think on that. For how long? Like for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days? No, longer.
No.
Right? So yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, sometimes you also have a problem with my processing, and sometimes you think that my process is my arrival.
No, it's not that I think that your process is your arrival. It's that I have to learn to be patient with your process. Mm. And the point that I'm trying to make here, yes, Linda, communication. But the point that I'm making here is this: we got to be willing to be in limbo. We either want you to have it all the way together, know all the answers, or not. When you don't fit into my box, then it makes me anxious. Mm. I don't know how to deal with that. What do I do with that if you're not fitting into what I'm perceiving is the right way to do things? Mm-hmm. I'll give you a concrete example that we've said before. We won't go long, but I know in my marriage early on, my husband was like, look, I'm not really feeling going to church every Sunday. And I had a hard time with that. Did I not? Yeah. I had a hard time, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, we got to be, what's going on? We're supposed to go to church. You got to take these kids. That's what I grew up with. That's what I knew to be the norm.
Are you a PK?
I'm a PK. I'm a preacher's kid, right? And I feel like I'm an evolved PK. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I understood we spiritually are in the same place, but at the end of the day, there I go. At the end of the day, what comes out of you is what you grew up with. And I wanted us to both get up on Sunday morning. Who feel me? Can I get some love? Can I get some hearts? Come on, sisters, where y'all at? Don't try to break it up. Don't try to break up my hearts. I don't know
who this person is. Like, I can't read the name. The person is saying.
I don't know, okay. But they're actually like, they're giving real comments.
Yeah.
So I didn't get no hearts. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Thank you. I want to get up on Sunday morning. I want us to get up. We're going to go to church as a family. Like, that's a bare minimum, right? Let's go together. Thank you. I know those are my sisters. I know that, right? And I want this to happen without question, without hesitation. I ain't gotta ask you the night before, we going to church? Are you going? I don't want to have to leave out the house with all the kids by myself, right? I would be blown, like leaving. Thank y'all for the hearts. You see the hearts, boo? He's like, feel me.
Scriptures, Hebrews 7.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Alicia, she's a church girl, right? So y'all know what I'm saying, right? And so this was an area of gray for us for a long, long, long time.
Really well.
A long time. And so for many people, we've counseled people who said, like, I just don't know if we're equally yoked and if we should be together because he's not blah, blah. And I'm asking them, you know, and we're both asking, so tell me where else you're disconnected. Spiritually, are you in the same place? Do you have the same philosophies and beliefs? Is he a lover of your soul and your heart? Is he taking care of you? Are you able to tend to him? Everything else is good, but he just not, he ain't getting up going to church though. Like, I'm having a problem with that because of real talk, I don't like the way that look. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to come up in there with all my kids. Where your husband at? At home. I don't know. Where is he? Get in here. Get in here and sit next to me. You know what I'm saying?
That's all ego, though. So, I mean, that's all ego, right?
So on some level, it was ego because I don't like the way it looks. Anytime you don't, it's all about looks, right? Or it's not even that it was all about looks, but you're focused on that. That is ego in the mix. But at the same time, there are some expectations I had. Where did we go with this, y'all? How do we get through it? What we did is we continued to talk about it and negotiate that thing every single week for years.
Yeah.
You know, we came up with you know, compromises. Okay, well, we're gonna do church, and then the next Sunday we're gonna go and we're gonna find some place in the community to meditate, and then another Sunday we're gonna go. You want to do different stuff. Want to go walk in nature. But how about y'all? How about this? Every time it was time for him to be in charge of where we was going, what we was doing on a Sunday morning. He ain't had nowhere to go. I'm like, what are we doing? Where are we? Because we were talking about spiritual practice. I'm like, what's up? You still in the bed? What are we doing? And so
that was my spiritual practice.
You know, spiritual practice is like go back to sleep. So
and on the seventh day, you
rest.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, where we arrived is where we are now, where we are in a place where we are able to alternate. He's able to come on Sundays, and then he alternates and doesn't come on the next Sunday. Sometimes he does, you know, several in a row, but he's been able to get his own place and his own space in terms of his spiritual practice. See, I'm able to understand and recognize that everybody has their own relationship with the Most High. And so I might want you to do it the way that I want you to do it. But at the end of the day, what I really want is for my man to be connected to God. And I want to be connected. I want our children to be. So I've got to be willing and I've got to be able to hang out in the gray, which means that for several years, I was in church by myself. Or sometimes for real, I just didn't go because I didn't want to go without him. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Tell the truth and shame the devil, right? So I had to realize that this was just a part of the process. We wouldn't have been able to get through that because guess what's happening? And then we'll move on. But guess what's happening? He's developing who he is. You know, we were young and we still young. You know, he's developing who he is. He's becoming all that he's supposed to be, and so am I. So where do you make room for your partner? You know what I'm saying? To be able to get a sense of who they are and how they flow and what they believe and what they do and what they don't do, if they just got to line up and be in the black and white and get in order. If that's you in some way, shape, or form, you've got to figure out how to hang out in the gray. And how do you take care of yourself in the gray? Because I ain't saying it's a fun place to be, but for those couples who are not willing to do it, or one part of the couple is not willing to do it, you are funking up the relationship because you want it the way you want it. And that's not a real relationship. That's not how it really works.
Wow.
Hang out in the gray.
Wow.
What's next?
All right, what's next, y'all? So your relationship is what it is because, and this is one of the negative ones, because you have a boundaryless relationship.
Boundaryless.
Yes, a boundaryless relationship.
I ain't gonna say that word no more. I'm gonna mess up. You ain't got no boundaries. No boundaries.
Make it simple, huh?
Yeah, make it simple. Make it simple. If you're just joining us tonight, we're talking about relationships. This is Relationship Thursday with yours truly, Iana and Ayize Ma'at. And your relationship is what it is because of you. That's what we're focusing on tonight. It's because of you. It's because of you. It's because of you. It's because of you. That's the message. Stop focusing externally on other people, on other situations, on what you did or didn't know, right? What had happened, and you know, you were in the dark, and what your partner said or didn't say. What did you do? What did you not do? What are you doing? How are you showing up or not showing up? You always have a choice. Everything is always happening around all of us at any given time that is provocative and agitating us and encouraging us. And we always have a choice about how we respond. Always. It doesn't stop in the context of a relationship. But oftentimes we want somebody to come get us, pursue us, tell us they're sorry, they understand what we're saying, come out the basement, come upstairs, get your ass up and do it. Walk over to that man. Come and be a support to that woman. Get out of looking outside of yourself and understand that whatever you're getting in some way, shape, or form, it's because of you. You impact the dynamic. It just is what it is. I see some of y'all ain't really liking that. Y'all quiet as hell.
I mean, they was like, "Thank you, Mrs. Ma."
Okay, Bruce said, "Teach." All right.
Yeah, they feeling what you.
I'm just saying.
There's a delay on Facebook as well. Too,
okay. I'm like, there's just crickets out there.
So
like,
when it comes to boundaries in your relationship, y'all, you know, some of y'all on this live stream right now, and I'm glad you're here, may have a work spouse.
Oh Lord! Don't talk about work moves, I mean, work spouses.
Do
y'all know what that is? A work spouse?
Yeah, I mean, you got your husband at home, your wife at home, but you connecting in with somebody at work, and so they're your partner at work, and y'all do things at work that you should only be doing with your spouse.
Do things?
Yeah.
Like what?
Sometimes people are having sex at work.
Well, that's not a work spouse. That's not a work spouse.
That's more than a work spouse?
That's just
That's a work spouse too.
Something buddy, you know what I'm saying? Like that's something different. I guess what I know about in terms of work spouse is somebody who you have an inappropriate connection with, but you may not be cheating, but you are spending too much time, and you are walking the line. You walking the line, right? You have lunch, and when they go out to go get something during lunch, they like, oh, they pick that up for you because they know you like M&Ms. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that kind of stuff. Y'all are talking all the time.
Have an inappropriate relationship is not cheating?
No, I'm not saying it's not cheating. What I'm saying is that what I know about work spouses is that these are people who you are talking to too much. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily having some emotional infidelity or that you're connecting in heart to heart, but that you all are, you know, just too chummy. Y'all are too in each other's space, and they know a little bit too much stuff about you. And it's one of them things where, you know, yeah, your partner even knows them.
You need to cut it.
It's some people who even tell their partner that they got a work spouse. Any of y'all do that? Y'all got a work husband and work wife, and y'all be telling your actual husband or wife.
I wish. Woman, I wish you would.
What you mean? You got feisty right there. You got like, I wish you. Why are you looking at me like that? What? He don't do that. He don't do that. He don't get upset like that. Look, you know what? We have to understand that there have to be boundaries in our relationship. Thank you so much. Stephanie said she don't have a work spouse. And Dave said, nope, my wife crazy. Let me tell you something. High five to your wife, Dave, because let me tell you something. You come in, if I hear somebody name a little bit too much, where they sit at? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Why y'all got so much in common that y'all have to have so much conversation? Yes, and you're right, Simone. Co-workers see it, and people think, wait a minute, what you say, Simone? And people don't see. Oh, anyway, I think what you're saying is your co-workers see it, right? And people think that nobody else knows what's going on, right? Or that it's just innocent, you know, and it's not, it's inappropriate. So that's an example of having no boundaries. Another way that we don't have boundaries is that we share things with other people, whether it be in-laws, whether it be siblings or girlfriends or whomever, our parents, that is not to be shared. Maybe you don't have no problem with it, but your partner has a problem. They don't want you to share. So you have no boundaries, and you also have no structure in terms of how you all go about that. Check out another video, and we talk about how you have to have a process for how you all deal with those kinds of things. But having boundaries, I've heard people say that, you know, my husband is just very friendly. Anybody got any friendly husbands out here? You know, he's friendly at church. He's friendly when we go out on the weekends. He's friendly in the grocery store. You know, and so, you know, he'll be like, oh, you're looking good. All right. You're looking real good. I see you lost that weight. Nah, boo. Bring it down.
It's a number of friendly wives too.
And it's a number of friendly wives
they like to give long hugs.
Mm-hmm. You know about this personally?
Nah, I'm just saying. I mean,
but this is true.
I've known married people who have attempted to give me long hugs and physical touch, and you know, just it's.
Hold up, wait a minute. Say it again. I'm just trying to follow. Say it one more time.
I mean, I've known married women who have attempted to give long hugs
to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't say nothing to me?
I mean, because it don't be a long hug. I cut it.
But you didn't tell me though?
Nah, I mean, it's like...
Well, down. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next point. You keeping secrets. You keeping silly secrets. Okay? So at no point in time, at all, is it ever necessary, okay, and some of y'all ain't gonna feel this.
That's not a part of our point.
That is included that one. I'm integrating that one. To keep silly secrets. If you say, I know, and I trust this one right here, my sweetheart, with everything I have. But if you know it's foolish, you ain't doing nothing, then what's the point of keeping a secret? Well, I don't want my partner to have questions, and I don't want them to get upset. I want them to be like looking for the person. Look, all you can do is manage yourself. It is their responsibility to manage themselves. If I, have a little cray in my life, cray, mm-hmm. then allow that to let loose for a second, and I'll bring it back in. And so Alicia gave a transparent point here. She says, my husband shares way too much with my sister.
You need to cut it.
I mean, yeah, like straight up. He shares way too much with my sister.
Tanisha said no silly secrets. But for real, y'all, on this tip here, if I can say this, some of y'all aren't just sharing stuff with your family members. Some of y'all are sharing stuff with your children. And so that's extremely inappropriate as well. And so that's a boundaryless relationship too, where you're making your children responsible mm-hmm. for your emotional well-being. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people have coined that to be emotionally incestuous when it comes to your children, because you're making them responsible, again, for how you feel. Whether it be happy, sad, you take your problems that you're experiencing in your relationship to your children, and they're children, y'all. They're children. I think we saw a movie recently, and one of the children that we was talking about, that was in the movie, was like, but I'm a child. Like, I don't need to know all of your stuff. I don't need to know what's going on between your days.
I mean, who wants to hear that? Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Like,
so
your child doesn't want to hear that.
You need to cut that.
Yeah.
Establish boundaries in your relationship and honor those boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And so here's a couple of signs that you are a person who doesn't have good boundaries. You tend to share things too quickly. You don't know the person well enough. It's TMI, too much information. You call yourself like, oh, I'm just, open like that. Yeah, but you're not even thinking about whether or not other people really want to know all of that, whether or not it makes them uncomfortable. And so you got to pay attention to that if you are a sharer who does a little bit too much. If you don't pay attention to even giving hugs. That's a real small one, but it's a simple one, and it's an easy one to remember. Everybody doesn't have the same touch threshold. And so some people have gone through things, and just for you to be all up in their space, touching and hugging them, they ain't cool with that, mm-hmm. And so a lot of times you hear people say this all the time, I'm a hugger. But then they go like this. Like, what is that? Can I give you a hug, right? Yeah. In some way, you are getting permission, mm-hmm. not just like coming over and, hey, no, like, who are you? Get up off me, mm-hmm. Or you the person to touch somebody, hey, your head is so, or touch the person's pregnant belly, your belly, get off my stomach. I don't, I have boundaries, right? And so when you don't have those boundaries, it comes out in so many ways, and then it absolutely will show up in your relationship. Yeah. And when you don't have that, then of course, name any number of things that can come up as a problem when your partner is looking at you, because more often than not, if you ain't got no boundaries, your partner probably is just rigid as hell. They probably got all kind of boundaries, because opposites attract. Mm-hmm. That's not always the case. Yeah. But they may have all kind of boundaries, and you just setting them off left and right, and you all actually come together and have been attracted to one another to balance each other out.
And that was
calm down a bit,
there.
And then, get some boundaries.
Ladies, ask for permission to touch another woman's belly.
You said ladies?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. I'm assuming that the fellas aren't doing that, but wow. Whether it be men or women, ask for permission to touch somebody's belly. That's their personal space.
That one stood out to you?
It really did, because a lot of women do that. And not just that, but touching somebody, just touching, just ask for permission. Everybody has.
Now somebody sitting here thinking like, I'm going to say, do I have permission to touch your arm?
You don't say it like that, but can I give you a hug? People have experienced trauma and as a result of that, don't want hugs. Don't want to be touched, don't want to be close to you necessarily. And so you got to respect their own personal space. We're going to move on to the next one, y'all. So
this probably be the last one.
No, we got two more.
No.
Yes, we do.
This one and one more.
Two more.
This one and one more.
So your relationship is what it is because you do this thing right here. You're intentional about connection.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought we were.
You're intentional. We just gave the bad thing.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So here's the good thing. You're intentional about connection. I want to shout my wife out, y'all. Oh. Give her a special shout out. I'm kind of feeling my drink right now.
Shout out Key. People call me, my middle name is Key. When I was little, people called me Kiki. I'm Iana Key. So Kiki. Shout me out. Okay, I'm sorry. Why are you sharing that you're filling your drink?
I'm sorry.
Just keep going. All right.
So my baby, she has made a habit. I don't even know if you made it a habit. This is just who she is, y'all. So whenever I come home, whenever I see her, she did this today. She does this every day. She'll say to me, "Put down your stuff and properly greet me."
That doesn't. That's
properly.
That sounds. Me. Don't sound like that. I'll say sound like I'm demanding. Properly greet me.
It's not like that, but it's not like sexy, that. Though. It's sexy. It's sexy because I mean, baby, when you say that to me, it makes me feel like you want me. It makes me feel like you want to be acknowledged by me, and that I got a responsibility to step to you correctly. And so the way I step to you correctly is I put my stuff down. I come over to you
with them luscious lips. Okay. He's embarrassing me right now.
She's like, greet me correctly.
Yeah.
And so I received that, y'all. And so she's being intentional in those moments to let me know, like, you got a responsibility. You need to get on your ding, get on your post, handle your business, and do what needs to be done in this moment. And in this moment, you need to tend to me. You need to come over to me and kiss me when you see me, because you haven't seen me possibly all day.
I want somebody to walk up behind me and kiss me on my neck and breathe on my neck.
And I receive that. I really do. And so, you know, again, you got to be intentional about connection in your relationship. But it's not just that, y'all. You know, I mean, moments like that when we see each other, but even after this live stream right here, we'll be sitting on the couch, you know, watching something all cozy and comfortable and connected with each other. And hopefully it may possibly, I don't see no kids down here, lead to something after that. So who knows?
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. So let me say this. It's the small things. We talked about this before, and I just want you all to make sure you write this down if you're taking notes. There are what do we call it? Windows of opportunity. Windows of opportunity. And John Gottman, who is a renowned relationship expert, talks about windows of opportunity. I want you all to try this. When you go throughout your day with your partner tomorrow, do it tomorrow. Don't even say I'm gonna wait till Saturday, whatever. Wait a minute. Let me just back it up. Simone, we are not doing no number 6, child. Ain't no number 6. It ain't even possible because he got the snip. Yeah. So I had to correct that. We have 5 kids and somebody said we're gonna go to number 6. No. That's not happening. But I want you all to, within the next 24 hours, I want you to look for at least one window of opportunity. There is all I am. I want y'all to have something concrete to take away. Somebody, I think Jeff on here said, strategies. Can we get some strategies? I'm gonna give you one right now, bro. So here's what you're going to do. You are going to look for at least one opportunity to really reach out and connect with your partner in the smallest of ways. It might be that, you know how you're looking at your partner, and you know that you want them to see you looking at them. You want them to catch your eye, right? Like, but you're doing it on purpose, right? It could be as simple and as small as that, so that when they look up, they see you looking at them in that type of way. Like, and you just, you know, give them a little head nod. I don't know what you're gonna do. Maybe you just smile, whatever, right? That's a moment of connection. I do that with my husband. Now I don't do it just because I'm trying to get you to see me see you. I just can't help myself. I just love looking at you. I really do. But, you know, that's a strategy. Another way to connect is to write a little note on, like, the little sticky notes, like these little sticky notes right here. Write a little note on there and leave it somewhere. Send a little sexy text message when you walk past them, you know, brush up against them and get a little closer, you know what I'm saying? So they can feel you a little bit more. Whatever it is, we got to start with baby steps. It's the smallest of things. It may be that you're doing something for them. It doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have to be a physical touch or a physical connection.
It's okay if it is.
I know you're going to point that out. But it doesn't have to be, right? If you come home, and my husband, if you come home and you doing the dishes, Bow, bow, bow. And he is, and don't let him have the food, getting that together. It used to be back in the day, I'd be like, that's my area. I don't care now. I'm like, thank God, because I don't feel like cooking nothing. Okay. If he's doing that, that's a point of connection because you're looking out for me. So you need to do that. There are windows of opportunity. What does that mean? That means as you are moving about your day and you're around your partner or you're not around your partner, you will have, if you are quiet enough within yourself, if you are intentional enough, there will be moments when you will think about your partner, where you could give them a call, you could shoot them a text, an email, you're around them, where you could say something to them, right? There's little moments, but we let them go by. They're fleeting. And we let them move because we're trying to do this with the kids, or we're doing this, got to get dinner together, whatever. And all you got to do is just stop for a second, just stop for a second and acknowledge that moment and take advantage of that window of opportunity to connect in. And once you start doing that, and you do that once, twice, 3 times, and so forth, you'll start to get good at it. And we always tell y'all that we can give you all kinds of tips and tricks and all kinds of strategies. And this is how you should talk. And this is what your tone should be. And you got to pay attention to timing and all that stuff. But none of that matters. I promise you, none of it matters if you're not connected. If you ain't connected and you ain't feeling her, you ain't feeling him, all that stuff, it becomes what? Going through the motions. And the other person can tell when you're going through the motions. We're like, what is that? Come again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed. Right. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. We don't even give you no energy because we know you ain't really sorry. So you have to be connected in. And these types of things where you are intentional, again, the point is to be intentional about connection. Right? In the smallest of ways to the biggest of ways. These are the things that will keep you where you need to be in your relationship. I just want to shout out Terry White. What's going on, Terry? We see you. We see you.
That, y'all. To be able to make your woman or your man body respond to a simple and single touch is really profound. To be able to manipulate them emotionally, manipulate them physically, to tend to their needs is it's really a remarkable experience. And so, I give thanks for the connection and the chemistry that we have. Sometimes it's at 4:30 in the morning. Sometimes.
Okay.
I
don't know where he going. I don't know where he going.
It is what it is. But I like the way you respond, and I like the connection.
Oh, okay. I do too. It's making me nervous. All right. So here's the last one. The last one? Yes, boo.
We got to balance this thing out. We had to have balance, boo. My eye is all about balance.
Yeah, and so you already said it was 2, boo. And so we
had one more.
This one. No.
It would be 5 and then 6.
No, y'all tell him this is the last one. Everybody put last one. Don't y'all gotta go to bed?
We gotta end on a positive note, boo. You about to do a negative, we're gonna do a positive and then wrap it up.
What?
Go ahead, hit the negative. All
right, look. I'm gonna put both of these together. So look, when you don't make room for anybody else's perspective, your partner's perspective, and you isolate yourself, look, this relationship is messed up because of you. You hear me? Because of you. Again, I'm gonna say that one more time. When you don't make room for your partner's perspective, my eyes itching, sorry, and you isolate yourself, your relationship is looking the way it's looking because of you. So let's start with how you isolate yourself. There are many of us who isolate ourselves, particularly when we get upset or we get wounded, we get hurt, we retreat, we withdraw. We don't talk to people for a couple of days.
Why are you looking at me?
And so when we do that, right, and we shut down, it ain't helping nobody. It ain't helping nobody.
Why are you looking at me?
Because, you got a little more, fancy with your, I'm not talking to you. Fancy with your, I'm shutting down for the next 24 hours. You understand? That's right, Stephanie. Thank you. This is the last one. So look.
I'm sorry.
You might be doing this job by yourself.
We gotta end on a positive note.
So I just want to say this though. We isolate ourselves because we are wounded, because we're hurt. And so I'm messing with my husband, but real talk, it wasn't that long ago that, you was shut down on me for like a day and a half. Well, like 2 days.
Hold up, John. How you got that? How you have it calculated like to a day and a half?
I remember because let me tell you, it's painful for me. How many of y'all know? Y'all see how much I talk? I ain't got nobody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? He walking around here quiet, like, Lord.
A day and a half?
It might be like 2. I think it was 2 days. That's a long time. I got a lot to say. Not that I'm just concerned about myself. Like, could you get over it so we can talk? that's not that I'm just concerned about myself, but I will say this. It was, we had a situation. I don't even remember what it was now. I'm sure you do.
I don't remember, boo.
Oh, you don't?
No, it was probably insignificant.
It probably was.
Yeah.
Because you're petty. But anyway, it probably wasn't. If you weren't talking to me, then you're being petty if it wasn't that significant. But no, real talk, you were wounded, you were hurt. What I do remember is that he was hurt. I do remember that. And ain't that something, though, y'all, how we all have these little things, with each other. And then we be like, what was it about? What happened? Right? Because it's not the situation. It's not the specific thing that had happened. And then he said, and then she said, it's the feeling that you generated in yourself and in your partner. And if you would start to pay attention to what the feeling is that they've held on to, where they are emotionally, you'll be good, because you won't be trying to prove a point like, well, when you said that, then I walked out the door and then I turned around and put it right there on the table. That's not what it's about. It don't matter, because then y'all trying to be right. That's not what it's about. It's really just about what's the feeling. And so I heard him. I remember that. And it shut him down. And so what the heck? So he isolated himself. And in doing that, it delayed our connecting back in. What you have to be willing to do is to say what is going on for you. If it's hard for you to say, then you need to write it. You need to record it on your phone. You need to send it as a message. You need to figure out how to be able to share that, because the more that there is a disconnect, what happens, y'all, anytime there's something we have to do and we don't do it right away, you got that report you got to do, you got to go do this, pay this bill, whatever. And the more you put it off, what happens? It just creates more putting it off. Because it just becomes more difficult, awkward, whatever. You don't even remember now what you mad about.
If it's a DC parking bill, that thing continues to grow.
If it's a DC parking bill, you're gonna keep on more, right? That's a great analogy. So when you put things off and when you isolate yourself and you shut down, you're going to continue to stack up more and more that you owe to the relationship, because you have put the relationship on hold. You put it on pause, and you got to be able to still connect in. It ain't got to be warm and fuzzy, but you got to be able to let people know where you are, even in the midst of the difficulty. So that's really important. And then, of course, what I said goes right along with that is not making room for your partner's perspective. If all you are committed to is what you think, what you see, what you feel, your agenda, and you can't even learn how to fake it, you understand? You got to learn to fake it. Like, I don't really care nothing about what he's saying right now, but I'm going to go ahead and fake it. Because in the process of faking it, you will keep your mouth closed, you will listen, and you might actually see something or get some insight that you did not otherwise have before you started to actually be quiet and listen. You cannot just be so committed to your own agenda that you have no discipline and no understanding of how things work. You would not be at work. You would not be in the bank. You would not be at the grocery store. You would not be talking to anybody else, going over top of them and what they're saying, trying to tell them what it's supposed to be. You wouldn't be doing that with anybody else. You would go through the motions. You would already know in your mind, I ain't tripping off what he's saying, but let me go ahead and let him talk because I'm at work, so I'm going to keep it professional. But when you in your relationship, keep it professional. Because if you are serious about your relationship, be a professional wife, be a professional husband, and come with the tools. Act right, get information, and do what you need to do. And in the process, not only do they receive you better because you showed up better, but you are actually building up your ability to deal with conflict and to deal with difference and to deal with frustration and stress and all of that. It's not just because you're doing it to appease them. You're doing it because marriage makes you grow. Relationships make you grow. And so that's an important one that I don't want you to miss tonight.
The last point is to, in order for your relationship to be where...
Go ahead.
In order for your relationship to be where you want it to be, it's important that you embrace vulnerability.
Say it again, baby.
In order for your relationship to be where you want it to be, it's important that you embrace
vulnerability.
Vulnerability. I mean, if you decide to step towards vulnerability, to truly embrace it, successful couples who experience vulnerability and really embrace that thing, they have heightened levels of connection, heightened levels of intimacy in their relationship. It's no mistaking that my wife and I, we connect on an ongoing basis. We share what's going on within the depths of our spirits and souls, and we really open up to each other. And we have a whole lot more opening up to do as we continue to grow, continue to evolve. And so, but we wouldn't be as connected as we are today if we didn't do that. And so I'm emphasizing this point because I think that it's important that you all really internalize the fact that the only way to really get to the connection that you want is through the process of vulnerability. If you don't got that, you don't got the relationship that you want.
No, you don't.
And so what does vulnerability mean? It means taking a risk. It means daring to go to the next level. It means exposing yourself. It means to not know what the outcome will be, but also be okay with that.
Yeah.
It means to bare your soul to your partner and allow your partner to see who you really are, to see your partner naked and for your partner to be able to see you naked. You got to do that, y'all. You got to be vulnerable with your spouse, vulnerable with your partner, and allow them in, because that's, again, the way to true and everlasting and profound intimacy.
Vulnerability is uncertainty, it's risk, it's emotional exposure, it's that unstable feeling we get when we step out of our comfort zone or we do something that forces us to loosen our control. Nobody likes it, but I ain't never heard of nobody who has anything good with anybody who ain't got it. You have to be willing to go there and do that. Connect, connect, connect. And if you're not being vulnerable, you're not really connecting, y'all. Hey, look, y'all, I think we made it to the end tonight. We talked about why your relationship is the way it is. It's because of you, bruh. It's because of you, sis. You got to take responsibility for what it is that you are doing and what you are not doing. You got to be able to listen, and you got to be willing to give courage and give feedback and share, even when you don't want to. You got to be willing to see yourself not just through your eyes, but through the eyes of your partner. Because when you take the experience of yourself out of just who you think you are, and you allow your partner to reflect back to you what they're getting, you will grow. And as a result, your relationship will grow. Look, it ain't pretty. It ain't easy. Progress happens on a curve. We go up and down. We ebb and flow, right? You know what I'm saying? I be real sophisticated one day. The next day, I done fuss this man out. But guess what? We come back together. We make it do what it do. And that's what we're asking, and we are encouraging you all to do as well. All right, guys. We hope that this has been of help.
Please share.
I'm so happy you enjoyed. Yes, please still share this video. Good night, Stephanie. Good night, Antoinette and Yvette. Thanks, sis. Yes, and y'all been dropping some good comments tonight, sharing some good information.
And I got something in the workings for the fellas, too.
Yes,
I'm thinking about doing something real soon, really, really, really soon. And so I'm not going to announce it tonight. I'll probably announce it next Thursday. But I got something that I want to do for the fellas. So y'all stay tuned. And again, good night, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And please share. If you haven't already shared, please share, because I know that somebody will get some value from this video tonight.
Peace, y'all.
All right, y'all. Peace.